Defensive Player of the Year debate has been heating up, especially with Ben Simmons' comments on Rudy Gobert as of recent.
I'm one of those guys who can guard 1 through 5. Obviously, there's a lot of respect for Rudy. I know what he's capable of. I know, he's great down there in the paint, but he's not guarding everybody. I mean, he guarded me in Utah. I had 42.
And while there are multiple false interpretations in that statement, I'll get to them later. For now, this Defensive Player of the Year race is the embodiment of the rim protection versus perimeter defense debate. Gobert is the best rim protector in the league, while Simmons is one of the best on-ball stoppers. So which one is more valuable, and should Gobert or Simmons be this year's Defensive Player of the Year?
I'm like, boom, you looking for this?
As you could probably infer from the video's title and the thumbnail, I'd say elite rim protection is more valuable than any elite perimeter skill. In fact, I personally don't think it's close at all. An on-ball perimeter defender like Ben Simmons can only guard one player at a time. Therefore, he only likely affects just that player. Also, due to the vast number of factors that affect perimeter defenders, they can't stay on their man the whole game. These are things such as screens, switches, different coverages, etc. So although perimeter stoppers like Simmons are elite guard defenders, these things limit their overall team defensive impact. However, an elite and historic paint presence like Gobert can affect multiple players at once with his elite rim protection. To dive into this, I need to clear up a massive misconception about rim protectors like Gobert. Many people believe that all they do is just stand near the rim and swat shots, but this is entirely false. For one, they usually cover the entire paint, from the charity stripe to the rim. Hence, they are sometimes called paint protectors. For two, defenders like Gobert don't just block shots. Yes, he does that a lot, but because of how lethal that rim protection is, how lethal that paint protection is, offensive players don't even think about attempting shots over paint protectors like Gobert most of the time.
Rudy.
Here's some film to back that up. Please note that all film is via Ben Taylor, better known as Thinking Basketball on YouTube. A link to his channel will be down in the description. Once again, thank you to Ben Taylor for the following film. Now, onto the actual tape. Gobert is near the charity stripe here, but has the mobility to slide down and take away a Rubio layup attempt altogether. He did this without having to block his shot. And players will try everything in their power to avoid attempting a shot over Rudy. Often, multiple players will go numerous times without attempting a shot over him in a single possession. As shown down below, nobody even seriously thinks about attempting a shot at the rim before Capella throws up a desperate miss over Gobert. This is the kind of defensive gravity Rudy Gobert possesses, and this is how he can affect a whole offensive team's possession by himself. A perimeter defender could never accomplish such a thing, no matter how versatile, no matter how skilled they are in that department. So yes, I do think Gobert should easily win his third Defensive Player of the Year award. It's for the reasons I've covered. Paint and rim protection are far more valuable than any perimeter defense Ben provides, and Rudy Gobert is a historic paint presence. But some people might point out that Simmons is a good rim protector too, because he's 6'10", has a 7-foot wingspan, right? He has to be. Wrong. In the NBA, he ranks 93rd in total blocks, 70th in blocks per game, and 72nd in block percentage. Ben isn't even a top 70 rim protector in the NBA, and if he is, it's very barely. Compare that to Gobert's first, second, and fourth ranks, you'll really see the massive difference.
That's not even close. Come on. That's not even close. And that's a dangerous play because you take a guy's arm out. Look where his momentum is taking him.
But some people also tend to argue that Simmons is one of the most versatile players in the NBA and that Gobert isn't, stating that Ben guards 1 through 5, which is essentially guarding point guards, shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, and center. Ben himself has used this in an argument. Although Simmons only really guards the 1 through 4, and Rudy has massively improved his perimeter defense and switchability onto guards,
today's video will provide pretty solid proof, both through numbers and a lot of film, that not only is Gobert far from a liability as an isolated defender against quicker guys, he's actually one of the best centers in the NBA in this area. dating back to the start of the 2018-19 season, opponents have posted an efficiency of 0.73 points per chance on any possession where a guard isolates against Gobert, per Second Spectrum data via a source. That's the lowest number in the NBA among all centers defending at least 80 attempts.
It is true that Ben is a versatile defender, but Rudy also defends a 1 through 5 every night too. He does, not on the perimeter, but rather in the paint. He meets and affects every player at the rim and in the paint, be it a guard, wing, or big. No matter the player or size, he guards and affects every position, every night too. Actually, let me help bust the myth that Gobert is some all-time horrid perimeter guy for a big. Look at this graphic on the screen. A good ISO PvP is considered 1. Just because Jokic and Towns flame him on the perimeter doesn't mean that's how it is for every center guarded by Gobert. I mean, those two guys literally do that to every center. They're some of the 5 greatest offensive bigs of all time. But getting back to Defensive Player of the Year, if you still somehow disagree with me saying Gobert is the Defensive Player of the Year over Ben, because you still may think perimeter defense is more valuable, then I have one last bit of evidence for you. It's safe to say Gobert is an elite rim protector with little perimeter defense, whereas Simmons is an elite perimeter defender with little rim protection. So comparing these two and how impactful their different defensive playstyles are is relatively straightforward, advanced metrics. Hate them or love them, they're the best tool we have of measuring defensive impact other than film, and the eye test, which we've already covered. So, Rudy Gobert ranks 5th in defensive box plus minus, 1st in defensive real plus minus, and 1st in defensive raptor. Ben Simmons ranks 10th in defensive box plus minus, 42nd in defensive real plus minus, and 49th in defensive raptor. These impact metrics aren't to say Simmons isn't a top 15 defender, because he is. But he doesn't quite come close to Gobert, who is indefinitely a top 5 defender, if not the top defender in the NBA. So, what are the final takeaways? Overall, based on all the context, film, and statistics, I would say rim protection is more valuable than perimeter defense. And since Rudy and Ben are respectively the best of the best in those defensive departments, it's why many believe Gobert should be the 2020-2021 Defensive Player of the Year over Simmons. If you disagree, however, that's perfectly fine. After all, there is no singular definitive answer to this debate. Opinions cannot be right, nor can they be wrong. But based on all the information I've personally collected, there's no doubt in my mind that Rudy Gobert and the importance of rim protection is enormous, and it is why he should be awarded with the Glamored Trophy. Do you agree? Let us know down below in the comments, and while you're at it, feel free to like and subscribe. But with all that out of the way, until next time, peace. Hey there. If you enjoyed this video's content and want to see more like it, check him out on Instagram @KelsGoated and Twitter for more. And if you love the commentary, make sure to check me out on Instagram and TikTok @SportsWorldDebates and on Twitter @PranavShriRaman for more great NBA coverage.